Right now on NonStop Local at 6 o'clock, overcoming addiction to become a star. A touching story of a man who's now a big name in the fashion world. But first, one person in critical condition tonight after a crash on Interstate 90 causes another crash. The vehicle a driver ran into and the urgent message coming from a fire chief in North Idaho.
And we've been tracking freezing rain moving across the region. Is that set to continue into our Sunday? I'll have that answer coming up. NonStop Local at 6 starts right now.
This is KHQ NonStop Local at 6. This is breaking news.
And we are following breaking news out of North Idaho right now. A multi-car crash on US 95 has blocked all northbound lanes. This is near Garwood, which is just north of Hayden. Idaho 511 reporting that the roads there are very icy. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight here on NonStop Local at 6 o'clock. I'm John Webb.
And I'm Ava Wainhouse. In fact, there have been crashes all across the inland northwest today. Grant and Adams counties appear to be hit the hardest.
A semi crashed into a barrier along eastbound I-90 in Moses Lake. Also in Grant County, check out what happened to this trailer along Road U Southeast. Deputies say the driver was going too fast for the conditions.
Across the state line, Northern Lakes Fire Chief Pat Riley says all of his fire engines have been deployed within the past hour. And tonight, he's urging you to only drive if you have to.
I spoke with him moments ago. He says his firefighters are even having a hard time responding to these crashes.
We would request that the public, unless you absolutely need to be on the road, please stay off of it. It's extremely icy conditions, particularly in our fire district, as well as probably the other areas.
Well, the icy conditions also being blamed for causing a crash involving a fire truck. This happening just after 3 o'clock along eastbound I-90 near the Sullivan Road exit. As crews from Spokane Valley Ladder 10 were checking out a crash, their fire truck was hit.
Investigators say a car lost control on the ice. That driver was pulled out of the car and rushed to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Another driver involved in the first crash is said to be in critical condition tonight. And we are definitely tracking those conditions as we get you out the door right now. I want to take a look at that satellite radar again. So we have been seeing the pockets of freezing rain. That's really happened Friday into our Saturday. So that's why we woke up to such icy roads today. And because our temperatures didn't rise too much for those forecast highs, that's why we've been seeing those icy conditions stick around. So our satellite radar showing those pockets of wintry mixes, snow across the northeast mountains. So that's why we have been seeing the slick roadways and the sidewalks. So please, we've been seeing those crashes like we just said. So take it easy on the roadways right now. Our current conditions right now, not too bad here in Spokane. About 28 degrees for those current highs, 27 degrees in Coeur d'Alene. Warmer on the Palouse for our friends in Pullman at 36 degrees. Mostly looking at overcast right now, so we aren't seeing too much rainfall. But as we do set into the next 12 hours, we are expecting the rain to continue here in Spokane overnight. And you can notice we are looking at the possibility for some freezing rain, especially in those early morning hours when our overnight low temperatures dip just below that freezing line. So that's something to keep in mind as we get into our Sunday. We could see again that slick morning commute, so take it easy on the roadways, especially looking at bridges and overpasses. We are going to be under some winter storm advisories until tomorrow at noon. I'll have all those details getting through the rest of the weekend when I see you back here in just a few minutes. John?
All right, Ava, thank you. New at 6 o'clock tonight, those living in the Browns edition of Spokane finding it a bit easier to get around tonight. Plow crews spent the morning clearing the roads, which were packed with snow following this week's storm. As you can see, drivers had an easier time getting around. Meanwhile, a live look at the snowplow map for the city of Spokane, and you can see lots of blue throughout the city. Those are the areas the city are currently working to clear. As far as the green, the city says those area streets have been plowed. A water main break sending water down one busy South Hill roadway. We're still working to get video up right now. Crews were called to 11th and Ray this afternoon. When we arrived, repairs were underway. That's expected to take a little while longer. We're working to learn if anyone is without water tonight and what exactly caused that break. Well, new tonight at 6 o'clock. It appears parents, student athletes, and alumni of the University of Idaho want the athletic director fired. That's according to the Orange County, California Register newspaper. They want President Scott Green to fire Terry Golick. The paper says several people told them she failed to effectively address the alleged continued bullying of players by women's volleyball head coach Chris Gonzalez. It adds between October of 2022 and December, the university received at least 25 emails about Gonzalez. The paper says the emails talked about how the coach physically, emotionally, and verbally abused players, denied them food, and made inappropriate comments. Idaho has hired Thompson and Horton, a Texas law firm, to conduct an investigation into the culture of the volleyball program under Gonzalez. Crime taking center stage in Kootenai County. Leaders, along with the sheriff's office, holding a crime town hall. The meeting held Wednesday night focused on a number of issues. One, according to the sheriff's office, is the fact Kootenai County is a popular drug corridor. Plus, leaders talked about how jails are overcrowded. Sheriff Robert Norris says while the county doesn't see a lot of crime like Spokane, it's still there.
We don't have that. Do we have property crime? Absolutely we do. Do I encourage everybody to lock your doors? I live in the rural area. I used to not lock my doors. You know what? I do now.
Big bucks.
Well, officials also talked about the singe factor behind rising crime and its effect on your property taxes. This is the first time the county has held a meeting like this. A new bill in the Washington State House would allow all public school students access to free school meals. NonStop Local's Grady Glover joins us live to explain the impact this would have on students. Good evening, Grady.
Yeah, good evening, John. State Representative Marcus Riccelli of Spokane has already passed legislation to allow over 630,000 Washington students have access to universal meals, but that's only about half the state. This new bill would allow free meals to go to all public school students.
House Bill 2058, if passed, would require public schools to provide breakfast and lunch to all students who request it at no cost to them. Representative Riccelli says the need to provide meals is not just for a nutritional benefit, but also would enhance their learning.
Kids will thrive better. Hungry kids can't learn, and so if they have access to healthy, nutritious meals, they'll do better in school. There'll be less disruptions.
Riccelli says the measure also proposes to remove some burden on families dealing with high grocery prices. Help Advisor recently released data showing that Washington has the 4th highest grocery bill in the U.S.
Inflation and the cost of groceries going up, you're going to see more of our working class families save dollars. You know, this takes that off the table. So I actually think this is a tax cut for Washington families if we can provide access to universal meals.
Riccelli says that during the pandemic, when universal meals were available, child hunger rates went down in Washington state, so passing this bill would be the next step in reducing that problem as well. Supporters of the bill argue it can be paid for by redistributing current funds.
Providing nutritious meals, both breakfast and lunch, is a really important step to making sure that we can end childhood hunger in Washington state.
Now, the bill was unanimously passed out of the Education Committee, and now it's going to the Appropriation Committee in the House, where they're going to really hammer out how they're going to pay for this bill. Of course, we are going to track that bill as it makes its way through the House. Reporting live in Spokane, Grady Glover, NonStop Local.
All right, Grady, thank you very much. Multiple public health departments in Washington are warning of a measles outbreak. 2 southwestern counties say 6 cases have been confirmed there since January 10th. Both counties are located in the southwest region of the state. Officials have not said where the exposures may have happened, but people say they began feeling symptoms in mid to late December. Speaking of health concerns, many families spending the day enjoying the snow, sledding down many hills like those in Manitou Park here in Spokane. The University of Michigan Medicine says more than 20,000 emergency department visits a year are sledding accident related. The public information officer for Pasco Fire says the key things to remember: keep an eye out for any dangers and find a safe spot to sled.
Making sure, A, where they're sledding is safe to be sledding. It's been approved for that area. Make sure where they're sledding is the appropriate. Making sure everybody knows that's what's happening there.
Well, he adds cold weather brings drier air that could cause you to become dehydrated. He says some things to look for are chapped lips and heavy breathing. Overcoming addiction to become a major name in the fashion world. We've shared the story of Elijah Jade, not afraid in his accomplishments, from designing a t-shirt for the Super Bowl to his latest endeavor, designing earrings for an actress on the red carpet. NonStop Local's Bradley Warren talked to him about his success.
Well, I spoke with Elijah Jade, not afraid. He just recently worked on a project with Lily Gladstone. He says for him it's really important to work with other Native artists to help uplift one another, to help make their communities as strong as possible. They're making headlines not only here domestically, but across the globe for their work. And at the root of what Elias is doing is protecting his heritage.
It's been a really good 2023.
Elias Jade, not afraid, is on top of the world.
it kind of starts to hit in once in a while.
He's becoming a household name in the fashion world, but he's incredibly humble.
I don't know. I've just always been taught not to be like prideful, not to get too ahead of myself.
He was born and raised on the Crow Reservation in Montana, but left for a bit to work on his sobriety.
Didn't have nothing going on in life, you know, and so I was just like, did the only thing I knew how to do, which was beating.
It turned his life around, and as of just the last few months, he's been featured in magazines and on the cover of Rap Magazine, and even on the red carpet.
I don't know, it's new for me. It's really new for me.
Most recently, he did a project for Lily Gladstone, who is also from Montana. The two have been friends on the internet for many years, mutually supporting one another.
With her, it was just like, you know, whatever, if you need anything like earrings or whatever for a photo shoot, I can totally like hook you up.
She recently wore a pair of his earrings on the red carpet, and she even said everyone was obsessed.
Oh, this is so cool. Like, we need to like uplift, you know, help and support all Native artists in, you know, each medium.
And that he did. His mission with this project was to use their tribal roots, incorporating both Crow and Blackfeet nods in the earrings. Gladstone wore the earrings to the Critics' Choice Awards. They featured antique Russian blue trade beads and large shells historically used in headbands and hair bows.
Just because we want our people that are representing our people to look good.
So with 2023 behind us, 2024 is already off on a high note for both Elias and Lily, two incredible people from Montana making waves representing their culture. For Lily, she's using her voice to amplify and visually represent the community. For Elias, with every bead stitched and every photo taken, it's heritage protected.
It's an art, it's a craft that our, you know, tribe's been doing for some time now. So it's like, we need to keep it going.
They both have
very cool story, Bradley. Thank you. Meanwhile, a live look at Mount Spokane Ski and Snowboarding Park, where tomorrow the highly anticipated Winterfest finally gets underway. Crews putting on the final touches this afternoon. It was postponed last week because of the freezing temperatures. The event includes a treasure hunt on skis, demos, and tips on becoming a better Nordic skier. It runs from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. If you're looking to stay indoors this weekend, then you'll want to head to the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. The 2024 Inland Northwest RV Show is underway. It features hundreds of RVs ranging in price from $15,000 to $450,000. The event runs until 8 o'clock tonight and runs from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. tomorrow. Admission is $12 and parking is free. Always a good time there. Time for a quick break here. NonStop Local at 6 o'clock. Still to come tonight. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are down in San Diego, but it isn't vacation for them. Noah Schmidt will have the game preview later in sports.
But first, I'll be back with a look at that full weather forecast. We're talking about the possibility for some more freezing rain tonight. How much ice accumulation are we talking about? I'll have that answer coming up right after the break.
Well, finally tonight, how far would you go to support your pro football team in the playoffs? Buffalo Bill fans are helping shovel out 5 feet of snow from the stadium.
Hundreds of people cleared the snow ahead of the playoff game tomorrow against the Kansas City Chiefs. Fans were paid $20 an hour and had food and drinks, plus a warming area to come in from the freezing temperatures.
The playoffs game is set for 3:30 p.m. our time with temperatures in the mid-20s. Good thing they're getting the snow out now before it freezes and crusts all over the chairs, but they're getting paid pretty good money.
I mean, those are some loyal fans right there. Yeah. Loyal. Some people don't want to even scrape off their sidewalk in front of their house. And they're like, I'm going to go. We are going to play this game if it's up to me. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. We did see snow here in Spokane. I mean, we all know that Wednesday was a mess here, but we are looking at a calmer weekend ahead. Here's a look at your forecast highs tomorrow. 35 degrees in Spokane, about 37 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, some 40s, so we are warming up. 45 in Orofino tomorrow. So back to average temperatures. That trend continuing as we get into this 7-day forecast. Rain showers throughout the week. We are seeing again that chance for some freezing rain tonight into our Sunday morning commute. So pay attention to those slick roadways, sidewalks, especially bridges and overpasses tomorrow. Our winter storm advisory expiring tomorrow at noon, and then a pretty easy week ahead.
And again, the fire chief Pat Riley at Northern Lakes Fire District saying to stay off the roads tonight. We'll see you back here at 11.